Hi friends, welcome to English classes. This is the remaining part of the pronouns. So what is relative pronoun? Relative pronouns means those pronouns that join is called relative pronoun. For example, who, which, that, what, why, etc. These are the relative pronouns because they relate the sentence to sentence. For example, I met Anna who was returning from school. So who works here to relate the between two sentences. For rule number first is relative pronoun which, who, which, that are used as a subject in subordinate clause. For example, the boy who came here is a player. So, boy, who is a subject here because it denotes the player. For second rule is if two antecedent are joined by and one is being human and other is non-living thing animal, a relative pronoun that is used. So for example, let's see the example. And let's see the example, the man and his dog. So here this incident joined by and the man, a one human being, and his dog is a animal, so that is used. That I saw yesterday I have been kidnapped. So that here is a relative pronoun because it shows the relation between the man and his dog. Okay. Rule number third. Relative pronouns who, which, that are used and an objective in sentence subordinate clause. For example, I have a son whom. Whom means here work as a object I love very much. So whom here is an object which relates I have a son and whom I love very much. So it relates the both sentences. For example, that is used after superlative degree. Superlative degree means the most, the best. These types of words are superlative degrees. For example, Mr. Mishra is the most laborious man that that have I have ever seen. So the most, so we can use here that after superlative degree. Rule number fifth is if all denotes all people and is used as a subject, who or that is used and not whom or which. Let's see the example how. All, who, that both can be used here. Are interested to do this work can start now. Here not come, who and which. Always use here who or that after if all denotes people. Okay. Then rule number 6 is if all denotes non-living things, that is used and who and whom are not used. So let's see, if all denotes non-living things means those are not living, so always use that. For example, all that glitters is not gold. So gold is not a living thing, it's a non-living things, therefore we use here that. There is a note, all plus uncountable nouns means those cannot be counted. Nouns is followed by that. For example, all the money that I gave her has been spent. So all plus uncountable nouns always use that after them. Rule number 7 is everything, nothing, the only, any, all, everyone, none, nobody, and much, little, the same, the few, the little will take that after them. So always will take after these words. For example, my father has given me everything that I needed. So here everything, therefore we use here that only. Second example, this is the only pen that I bought yesterday. So the only pen, therefore we use that here. And third example is my wife has spent the little money that I gave her. So the little money, therefore we use here that. So after these words, always use that. Relative pronouns are finished. So now turn to the interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns means for asking questions are called interrogative pronouns. For example, who, whom, which, whose, which, etc. are interrogative pronouns. These also are relative pronouns, but here when we use who, whom, whose, which as a subject, so it always works as a interrogative pronouns. Let's see how. For example, who is used for the subject. If who used for the subject, then who is a interrogative pronouns. For example, who is playing, so who here is a subject, therefore it's a interrogative pronoun. And second is whom is used for object. Whom has invited, so whom here as a object, but it's also a interrogative pronoun. Sees, who is used to find out honor, so who's used for find out the honor. For example, whose book is this, so who shows here the honor. For second rule is preposition plus whom can be used, but not preposition plus who be cannot be comes together. For example, by whom was the Bible written, so by whom, here we can use by whom here, but not by who here. So always remember. Let's see how. If a preposition is used at the end of the sentence, who comes at starting of the sentence. Let's see how. Who was the Bible written by, so we can use who in the starting and by in the end of the sentence. Now let's see the difference between relative pronoun and interrogative pronouns. Who are you? This is interrogative pronouns because it's asking the question. And who is used for the subject here. And second example is I don't know, who are you. Some people always write or say this statement or sentence, but it's not correct. Its right format is I don't know who you are. So always remember, who you are is used, not who are you is used in the sentence. And here it's again asking the question, but here who is joined the sentences. So who is here a relative pronoun and who is here like a interrogative pronoun, but it's wrong. So always remember. And rule number third is if choice is to be made between two or more, which is used. Some people always use who. For example, who is your brother in the crowd, so it's wrong. Its right statement is which is your brother in the crowd. So which is used if choice is made to be between two and or more. So always remember. And its a second example is who of the servant do you want. so it's always wrong. Its right sentence is, which of the servant do you want? So which always use if choice is to be made between two or more. So which is used in the sentence. Now next is distributive pronoun. So it denotes the choices. For example, either denotes choice between two. So either always denotes choice between two, not more than two. For example, either of these two friends is naughty. So either shows only for twos, not for more than twos. And either of these two pens is red. So this is either shows denotes choice or preference between two things. If there is a 4 in place of 2, so we can't use either here. So always remember, either used for only two things. For two friends is naughty, and either of these two pens is red. So either used for between twos. And there is note, any or one is used to choose between many persons or things. For example, one of these friends is naughty, so we can one of these friends is naughty here, not either. Okay, either only used for twos. For rule number second is neither denotes none out of two things. So none out of two things, and this is either only for two things. Choose only for two things. For example, neither of two girls is active. So it's right. And note, none more than twos. None is used for more than twos. For example, neither of his four sons looked after him. So we can't use neither here because neither is used only for two things. None of two things. Therefore, none is used here. So always remember, if there is a man or things more than two, we use none here. None of his four sons looked after him. This is the right format of the sentence. This is last pronoun of all pronoun, indefinite pronoun. Here only one rule and two example. If one is used as the subject, nominative case means he, she, it, they. In these types of case is nominative case. One and objective pronouns oneself is used. For example, one should do one's duty oneself. So always one is used as a subject here, one is used as a subject, and nominative case one's duty, and objective case oneself. Here oneself is used. So always remember, if there is a subject is one, then nominative case one is here, and always used oneself means objective pronoun use here. Another example is one should keep one's promise. So always remember, this is the end of indefinite pronouns and also end of pronouns. Thank you for watching my channel.